You gonna do a video?
Yeah. Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Jay. I know it's really dark, so you can't even see my face.
Why is it dark?
I don't know. I turned on the light.
You turn on the other light?
Yeah. Hang on, technical difficulties.
Is it because of the sun, Jairo? How about if I close the blind? Is it better? Why is it dark like that? It can't be because check your lighting in your camera. Jairo?
No, it's still dark.
Why? When it's light coming in, I don't get it. You check the lighting like on the phone?
Yeah, well,
I mean, it's
but
bright.
it's right because I new videos in.
I don't know why it's dark.
Lisa's saying hello.
We miss you.
But anyway, this video is gonna be deleted anyway.
Wait, let me see. How about now? No. Huh?
Anyway, it's better.
It's better. You want to put the lamp here?
Yeah.
How about the lamp here? Just when you finish that, it else I'll turn it off. Is it good now?
Yeah.
Better?
Better. Anyway, it's better now. Anyway, guys, we had some lighting issues, but
It's not better, Idol. Let me take the lamp off the shade. Idol?
yeah, but it's the best we could do.
I could take the shade off. Leave it like that?
Yeah.
Alright.
Uh,
I don't know why it's so dark. Let me put the kitchen light on. How about now?
still
It's a little bit lighter.
a little bit lighter, yeah.
Okay. Let me see over here. How about this light? How about that? No?
It's no good to really doing it.
I don't get it. Why is it dark, Idol?
Well, anyway, you guys, this is the best I can do right now.
We'll leave the phone out. Let me know when you finish. I'll take the lamp out. Okay?
Yeah. But okay, we're here to talk about a new documentary that is about to be released on, or going to be released in 2025, supposedly, reportedly, from the Oxygen Network regarding Selena Quintanilla, or betterwise known as Selena, the singer, about her her murder, and alleged accusations that her murderer, the woman who murdered her in 1995, Yolanda Saldívar, is going to put out. Now, anybody that is familiar with this case, basically the same thing has been going. The accusations have been going out against Yolanda Saldívar for the last 30 years. Now, Abraham Quintanilla, Selena's father, put out a statement telling fans not to watch this documentary. Oh, the series is going to be out at the end of this month. Okay. But she's up for parole in 2025. Basically, in 2025, it will make 30 years that. Yeah, it's a docu-series put out by the Oxygen Network. Thank you, Lisa. I thought it was next year. But Yeah, I said it wrong. A docu series. I don't know what's the difference between a docu. What's the difference basically between a docu series and a documentary? But basically, it's the same story that she's been telling for the last 30 years. At first, when they did the behind the music on Selena a couple of years after her passing, uh, Yolanda would always say that it's a secret, that she has secrets about Selena. But then later on, there was a book released called The Secrets of Selena by the Spanish language reporter named Marie Celeste. A lot of people got it, and Marie Celeste, who was the first person to do an interview with Yolanda back in the day, got basically the gist of the secret, basically the lies that Yolanda has been telling for the last 30 years or so of why she did it. According to Yolanda, and I don't think in this documentary or docu series, whatever, is going to be any kind of new revelations that she's going to come out with, unless she's coming out with more lies and more stories. Basically, in this basically her story for the last 30 years of why she murdered Selena, it's changed over time. She, at first, the secret was that Selena was a lesbian and was actually in love with Yolanda. Then the secret became that Yolanda was sexually assaulted in Mexico by a random man. Then another secret after that, years after that, was that Selena was carrying on a relationship with a plastic surgeon in Tijuana, Mexico, named Ricardo Martinez. Then the secret became that Selena's father, Abraham Quintanilla, sexually assaulted Yolanda when they were in Mexico. So basically, it switched from some random guy sexually assaulting Yolanda to Selena's actual father sexually assaulting Yolanda. But the truth of the matter is, guys, the basic truth is the truth that we've known for the last 30 years was that Yolanda was caught stealing from the fan club, and Abraham discovered it, and he told Selena about it, and Selena was gonna fire Yolanda when she first heard about it, but she had sympathy for Yolanda because Yolanda had lied about the sexual assault by the random man in Tijuana, and they actually took Yolanda to the doctor to examine her physically to see if that she had been raped, sexually assaulted, uh, and there was no evidence physically on Yolanda that she had been sexually assaulted. You know, they took examinations on her, physical examinations that they would do for a woman that has been claimed that she has been sexually assaulted, and nothing was found. So after that, Selena said after that she was still going to fire her, and then that's when the incident occurred in the hotel room where Yolanda had bought the gun and went with the intention to kill Selena. Now, whether or not Yolanda has always claimed that there was an altercation and the gun went off by accident and she didn't intend to kill Selena, but according to the law, even if I went to a place with a weapon and I didn't intend to harm somebody, I went with a weapon, even if I went just to scare them, it's still considered illegal because I had the intention in my mind to do something to do harm to that person. Right? So even if it happened by accident, because that stuff does happen with guns. You know, you wrestle with somebody, you get into a physical altercation with somebody, you say you push them and the gun goes off. But since we can never prove intent, all we can prove is what actually happened. Nobody's in Yolanda's mind. Nobody knows if she intended to do it or she didn't intend to do it. But the fact of the matter is, she went to a hotel room with a loaded gun, ready to I think, in my mind, to kill Selena. Maybe to scare her, That's a possibility too, to scare her. But still, you went to a hotel room with a gun against another human being. That's still illegal by the law. You know, and in Texas, apparently, they don't have what we have in New York. We have something in New York called the Son of Sam law. And the Son of Sam law, of course, named after the famous 44 caliber killer, you're not allowed to in New York make money off of your crime that you've been convicted of. So somebody that is a famous criminal in New York State is not allowed to publish books or make documentaries or docu-series about their crime, because people will say, okay, then you'll commit a crime, you'll get convicted, and that's how you'll get famous off that. But apparently, in Texas, where Yolanda is doing time, they don't have such a law. They should. They should. It should be nationwide, because what's to stop was to stop an individual from, like I said, committing a heinous crime and then going to jail for it, being convicted of it, and then later on becoming famous off it. That's why a lot of these mass shooters, do this kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like, people, they want to get their name in the history books. That's why you notice on this channel, we don't talk about mass shooters or any of those type of individuals. We don't discuss them on this channel, because I feel, me personally, that that's making them famous. That's giving them clout that they don't deserve for doing something that's really fucked up. But like I said, apparently in Texas they don't have such crime. They don't have such laws, like that. And she's obviously going to make money off this Oxygen documentary. Yes, there's two sides to every story. Was Selena a perfect person? I, I don't. Of course not. Nobody is perfect. But was she cheating on her husband? And if she was, so what? You know what I mean? Like, well, that wouldn't justify um, her murder. But I don't think she was. And I don't believe that, because there's no evidence to prove that. Um, the supposed doctor that she was having an affair with never confirmed that he was having an affair with Selena or anything such of that nature. Um, the slanderous attacks against Abraham Cantanilla, Selena's father, that he allegedly assaulted Yolanda, that's proven to be a lie, because she wasn't sexually assaulted by anyone, including Selena's dad. The accusations that she was a lesbian, again, if she was a lesbian, Yolanda, uh, now I'm gonna say something that is gonna sound a little bit mean and a little bit shallow, but who cares? It's a murder anyway. Yolanda is not now, nor was she ever, an attractive woman, and Selena was an extremely beautiful woman. Now, if Selena was into women, which I don't think she was, I don't think she would be. I don't think she would be into Yolanda Saldívar. You know, what I mean. Somebody who, at the age in her 30s, when she actually committed this crime, actually looked like she was in her mid 50s. You know what I mean? Like, I think, with all possibilities, it was probably, like, no cap, guys, the other way around. I believe Yolanda, who has never had a relationship with a man that was documented in any sort of way, was never in a relationship with anyone, was in love with Selena, if anything. And that she made up this fantasy in her mind that Selena was, that the feelings were reciprocated, because people in the social circle, like the fashion designer, right, exactly. But she looked like she was in her 50s, Lisa. If you look at her pictures of her and Selena together, she looked like she was in her like 57, 58 at that time. You know what I mean? She wasn't an attractive lady. She was very short, very chubby, very homely looking, to put it a nice way. And who knows? She probably did harbor feelings toward uh, toward Selena. Of that type of nature. Of course, because Selena was a very attractive young lady, a beautiful woman. You know what I mean? Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? Anybody that was into women, a lesbian or a straight man, who wouldn't be in love with somebody as beautiful as Selena? She probably, in many people's fantasies, anybody that's into women, a lesbian or a man. I know, she was in mine when I discovered her. You know what I mean? So, uh, um, but according to this fashion designer that was around both of them at the time, you know, in the I think she met Selena. Hold on, let me look at when Yolanda actually met Selena. Okay, yeah, she met Selena in the late '80s, right? Going to going to her concerts, right? But according to this guy, that was this fashion designer, when Selena would leave, 5 minutes, she's been gone 5 minutes. They've been separated 5 minutes from each other, and Yolanda would already say, "I miss Selena." Like, you just saw the lady 5 minutes. You just saw her 5 minutes ago. How are you gonna miss her? And she's only been gone that short amount of time. That is showing you an unhealthy obsession with another person. What I believe really went on, besides the stealing, besides the being accused of stealing and being fired from her job, I believe that Yolanda was actually in love with Selena, and the thought of being separated from her, she couldn't bear it. You know what I mean? She couldn't bear to be separated from Selena because she was so obsessed with her. Like, she was the ultimate stand. Remember that song "Stand" by Eminem back in the day, when Stan says in the letter to Eminem, "P.S. We could be together too." You know what I mean? Like, us, an obsession over a musical artist turned into a sexual attraction, even if she didn't know that she was technically gay. You know what I mean? Oh, wow. Lisa says, that's another Virgo that we have to unfortunately add to the list. Lisa, Vince McMahon, and Jada Pinkett Smith. I'm not going to include Beyonce in that because I don't consider Beyonce anything bad about her necessarily, even if I don't like her music. But damn, Virgos have some crazy ass people in there, in our not there our bracket. But yeah, people become obsessed with celebrities, and there sometimes their obsession can be deadly. It seems like that was the case here, that it became a sexual attraction, a homosexual or a lesbian sexual attraction. And of course, Selena not being gay and not being into Yolanda and being married, um, of course, is not going to be, not going to reciprocate such feelings. And just like anybody else, sometimes when, you know, Sometimes when a person has low self-esteem and when they are continuously rejected by society, they can react deadly to rejections. People turn into stalkers, people turn into crazy people, and when it's a celebrity, it's amplified tenfold, basically. So that's what I have always believed happened here was that she was discovered lying, and the reason why she wanted Abraham Cantonilla, she wants to accuse Abraham Cantonilla, Selena's dad, of this because Abraham knew from jump. He warned Selena that she was this type of person. He warned Selena that the relationship that she was developing with Yolanda, that what she saw as just a friendship on Yolanda's end, was very unhealthy. And he also warned that she was a crook, that she was stealing. But the part I never understood is you didn't really love Selena that much that you claim, even because not only did you kill her, but you were stealing from not Selena, but stealing from the fans. The thing about Selena was that she was she loved her fans. You know, she wasn't like these typical celebrities that they treat their fans with disdain and disrespect. She loved her fans. She went all out for her fans. And the thing that got to her that caused her to really confront Yolanda that day was that Yolanda wasn't stealing from Selena. She was stealing from the fan club. For example, fans would write in that they wanted certain merchandise, right, from Selena. And they wouldn't receive the merchandise. But Yolanda and the club, Yolanda, who was head of the club at the time, would take their money. So she was stealing from not Selena, but stealing from the people, stealing from the Selena fans, many of whom were young teenage girls that they don't really have they don't really necessarily had the disposable income to be spending, out their asses for Selena merch and everything because they're kids, right? And that was the weird part too. Like, uh, Yolanda was a grown woman being obsessed with this pop singer. Not that anybody can like any kind of pop singer, any age they are. You know what I mean? I like some songs by Taylor Swift, I like Drake, things that appeal more to teenagers. But to be so old and to be such an older woman, to be obsessed with a pop singer that makes music for a younger audience is kind of weird, kind of strange in a way. You know what I mean? In my opinion, it's just like I say about the Star Wars fans. These grown men, or the Cody crybabies in WWE, these grown adult people that are obsessed with something that is for children of all ages. Yes, anybody can be anything, but to be really obsessed with something and to be so grown and to have no life beyond that is kind of weird, and you have mental issues, I would think. Because the president of a Selena fan club, to be the president of a fan club, you would think that Yolanda was a teenage girl, a teenage Latina. You know what I mean? Not a grown woman in her 30s. You know what I mean? Because grown adults should have other responsibilities. They should have families. They should have things that they're doing. And Yolanda was a nurse, and she quit her job to be president of Selena's fan club. You know, so what I think is going to happen, I think she's going to be denied of parole because she shows no remorse for her crimes. The fact that she's justifying her murder, justifying the murder, it would show the parole board that she doesn't have any remorse. See, the parole boards will look at things like: is the person sorry? Is the person uh, has the person rehabilitated? Has the person changed? If they haven't, at least, then what sense of letting them out? They're still mentally unstable. There are still people that are alive that she may want to harm. Selena's mother, Selena's husband, Selena's sister, Selena's brother. You know, she's unrepentant. She's not sorry. So if she hasn't changed and she's not sorry, then what's the sense of letting her out? And plus, keeping her in there is better for her own safety. This is a person who had a hit out on them by the Mexican mafia. The Mexican Selena was so beloved by the community in Texas that the Mexican mafia even put a hit out on Yolanda. So keeping her in jail in protective custody where she is, where she's been for the longest, is actually better for her health than having her on the street, because when she's out in the street, anybody has free access to do anything they want to her, and they still beloved Selena. She's still a beloved figure. She's still the most beloved Mexican American celebrity ever, really. Yeah, you know what I mean. So I would think the parole board in the state of Texas would want to keep her in there. You know what I mean? Because like I said, the Mexican mafia, they put out, they don't fuck around. They almost killed Edward James almost for making the movie American Me. So, and he had to have protection. And it wasn't until I mean, that was in California, but still, uh, the Mexican mafia, they take shit like that uh, uh, to heart, and they did it with Selena. They put a hit on Yolanda, and nothing ever happened to her because she was in protective custody. You know, this is how beloved she was. I would say more beloved than Biggie and Tupac. Really, more beloved by her community than Biggie and Tupac by their community, because nobody ever put a hit out on Keefy D. you, you know, he was free to walk the streets for 27 years. You know, true. Jesus says that if they let her out, that means Texas courts don't care about her. Yeah, and her parole is March the 30th. Selena's 30th anniversary will come up on March the 31st. That was the anniversary of Selena's passing. You know, and she is supposed to be the most beloved celebrity in Texas, and I think, in my opinion, she is. I mean, I don't think there's anybody in Texas history, at least from a Latino standpoint, that is more famous. You know, what I mean, she has Selena Day. You know, when George W. Bush was governor of Texas, I mean, it's hard for me to really gauge how how I grew to love Selena after she passed away, but during the time that she was uh, during the time that she was alive, unfortunately, I didn't know anything about her. I had no idea who she even was. You know what I mean? And that's the really sad part of it. I compare a lot to Nipsey Hussle, who also passed away that same day, March 31st. Years and years later, of course, he passed away March the 31st, 2019. But their impact was similar in that people in their local state knew who they was, and they're remembered for who they were in that state. Nipsey's being in California and Selena's being in Texas, but people outside of that, like people like me in New York, don't really know who they or didn't know who they were before that. Me, like Lisa's just saying now, I found out who she was through the 1997 movie starring Jennifer Lopez about her, and then I became upset. well, that that's a wrong word to use, especially with her that she was murdered by an obsessed fan. But I became really interested in her case and knowing about her background and her music, and I actually bought a DVD that had her concert film on it. You know what I mean? Including the performance in Houston in the purple dress that was her last performance at the Houston Astrodome, the famous performance that Cardi B later parodied, you know, which got a lot of Selena fans. That there got a lot of Selena fans upset too because uh, they felt it was disrespectful because Selena was a deeply devout Jehovah Witness. She had very conservative viewpoints about sex and sexuality, and her music was wholesome. Her music was for all ages, all people, and a lot of people felt that Cardi B's performance in that outfit, famous Selena outfit, was not a tribute, but was more disrespect because of the type of music that Cardi puts out. You know, in trap music, and even what she said, even what Cardi said in Motorsport, where she was like, "I'm the trap Selena." You know, there's even a clip that I found years ago of Selena talking about her views on uh, abortion that takes a really conservative standpoint. Think of it this way: Selena was so conservative that she didn't even want it to come out that she had eloped with Chris in the wedding because she didn't want the fans to think, you know, that were younger, that it was okay to elope. You know, it was okay to get married without your parents' consent or without your parents being there. You know, she was very image conscious in that way. A lot of it was her father, you know what I mean, that wanted to present a certain image of her, but she herself, she was devout. She believed in her Jehovah Witness faith. She practiced her Jehovah Witness faith. Some would say, you know, a little too much because then there's that rumor that she wouldn't receive a blood transfusion uh, in the hospital because of her Jehovah Witness faith. But that proven to be untrue because the truth of the matter is she bled out before she even got to the hospital and she was dead on arrival. So, but she was very devout in her faith. And even the fact that people put shrines of her and they kind of worship her like she's a saint. Her father said that if she were alive today, she would disagree with that because, again, she was a devout Jehovah Witness, and she would consider that as a sin. You know, even though you're trying to honor her, worshiping her, she wouldn't want to be worshipped. You know what I mean? Because of her heavy religious convictions, you know, in her faith. But yeah, Lisa's correct. We owe kind of J Lo kind of owes her whole career to Selena because even though J Lo was out before Selena movie, before the movie, she was on our Fly Girls and she was a background dancer for MC Hammer. She being J Lo, if Selena had never come out and she'd have never hit with Selena, uh, we'd have never known who J Lo was. I don't think, because and she's been eating off that for the last uh, 29 years now, right, or 28 years. You know, it's crazy how. Yeah, there is. Lisa says I think there's a statue of her in Texas. Yeah, and you know, most Mexican Americans. There's nothing against them, but they're yeah. Our family was a little bit different than the vast majority of Mexican Americans in the sense that she was Jehovah Witness, and most Mexican people are Catholics, and Catholics is a part of their faith. They don't mind statues and pictures, but other forms of religion, like Jehovah Witnesses, do mind that. you know, it's just something that our father brought up. I think our dad was less devout, because I find that funny, and I brought this up in the when I did the retrospective on the Netflix series that they did about her. I find it funny about her. Both her father and Joseph Jackson were supposedly devout Jehovah Witness men, but I think their wives were more devout than they were, because they were having their kids perform in nightclubs and stuff. And I don't think there's anything really religious about that. If anything, that's against uh, what the Jehovah Witness religion teaches. But I think the dads were more concerned with getting their kids famous than than anything that have to do with religion. Because in both cases, the mother was the more religious person and put it onto the kids and the family, and the father was just going along with it because that's what the mother wanted to do. But they were really into the music, and they really wanted to pursue the music. But I always found it weird how Selena's life kind of paralleled like my. Like, I don't think she did Christmas songs. People have brought that up now. Like, that's the first thing that people think of with regards to Michael Jackson, that people think about. Well, why did he do Christmas? Why did the Jackson 5 do Christmas music when obviously we all know, if you've ever known a Jehovah Witness person, they don't celebrate holidays, they don't celebrate birthdays, they don't do any of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, that's the one thing most people do know about that religion, is they don't celebrate Christmas, they don't celebrate holidays, but yet, not in Selena's case, but in the Jackson 5 case, they were willing to put it aside. But we all know famously that when it came to Michael, he drew the line at the occult. When he put out the Thriller video, certain stuff he would not show because of his religion. You know, you know what I mean. But like I said, the fathers, they were both. There's a lot of parallels between them. They were both ex-musicians themselves who really couldn't make it, so they felt that their way to make it, even though they both had the same excuse. Well, I'm just putting my kids into music to keep them away from crime and to keep them away from bad influence, you know, gangs or whatever, you know. But really, their real primary motivation in both cases, in MJ's case and in Selena's case, was really to get their kids famous, because they knew the kids were much more talented than the uh, than they themselves, the father. But Selena's dad, one of the reasons why he was never successful was, of course, because he dealt with racism. Racism at the time against Mexican Americans. He was singing R&B, and at that time they weren't ready to accept uh, a Mexican group singing R&B. So when she got into music, he encouraged her to do Spanish music, even though Selena wanted to do R&B. The R&B and disco was her favorite type of music, and she wanted really to be an R&B singer. You know what I mean? But her dad felt that she would face discrimination being her heritage in the R&B field, and that they wouldn't really push her because of her ethnicity. You know what I mean? So he encouraged her to do Spanish music first, even though Spanish was not her first language. She didn't even actually know Spanish all that well. She grew up speaking English. She grew up with primarily English as her first language, and she learned Spanish through singing. You know, so and that's the saddest part of it all was that when she finally got a chance to sing the type of music that she wanted to sing, which was R&B music, her life was cut short. You know what I mean? She was really looking forward to that English album, Dreaming of You, because that's what she always wanted to do. That was her true passion, singing R&B. She worked with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, a lot of Janet Jackson's producers on that album, and she would have made a big splash. I believe. I don't think I don't agree with her dad. I think at that time, if she'd have put out an R&B album first, it would have been something unique, and the R&B audience would have been the R&B fans of R&B would have ate it up. You know what I mean? They would have enjoyed it because Lisa, who was also Hispanic before that, put out several R&B songs and nobody found it strange. You know what I mean? So I don't really understand that. I don't really get that. You know what I mean? If she'd have put out R&B albums, so what? You know? Yep. Yep. Lisa. Right, exactly. I think she would have been, uh, Lisa's correct. I think she would have been embraced by the R&B audience because look, if you look at it this way, J Lo eating off her fame basically did the exact same thing that she wanted to do, but J Lo did it later. J Lo made R&B songs. You know what I mean? She began to work with a lot of black producers. In the realm of R&B slash African American music, and people embraced her. You know what I mean? So Selena would have been the first, the J Lo before J Lo. If she'd have came out, and not for nothing, you know what I mean? Like I mean, she had a build, a physical shape that uh, the hip hop and R&B audience would have embraced. Physical curviness and all that. Especially the men. you know. So I think her father kind of missed the boat with that. You know what I mean? I mean, during her time, there was a lot of competition out there in the R&B market because you still had Janet Jackson was still singing, but you know she could have at least tried. You know, it would have been something unique, but she chose to go. She chose, and in some ways it was harder for her because she was from a musical genre, the Tejano music genre that is particular to Mexican Americans in Texas that had no women whatsoever in that genre. It's a male dominated genre of music. It's kind of a combination of like R&B and country and stuff, and then never had a woman sing. A woman face of it really, and she kind of carved a niche for her. Another thing that Selena, yeah, Lisa said they better not let her uh, out next year. But yeah, I could have seen Selena. And think about it. When she came out during the late 90s, you know, like, and she survived, a lot of other Spanish singers came out around that same time that were trying to work, that were working heavily in R&B and even pop. Mark Anthony put out his English album. Christina Aguilera came out. Ricky Martin came out. You know, even in hip hop and R&B, Big Pun hit it big in 1998. So that late 90s, that the boat that she missed because of her passing away was the boat that she would have been on. When everybody was all about Latino, 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 during that period. And I could have seen her, collaborating with rappers, maybe. Mm, right, exactly. I don't know. Her father wasn't really thinking. He was going on his bit based on his experience when he was coming out in the 50s. What I mean? When you, you didn't even, people wouldn't even necessarily know what around the country what a Mexican even was, you know. But and the fact that they were a family and they could have marketed like the Hispanic version of the Jacksons. They were a family making music. The sister was playing drums. The brother was writing uh, the music. The brother was writing most of the songs, and Selena was singing it. And uh, they were managed by the father, and the mother did the costumes. They could have made it like Beyonce's father made her. A kid coming out singing R&B that's Mexican, a family that's from a wholesome religious family, and the media would have ate that up. you know, they would have loved that. You're kidding me? Spanish people, Hispanics never had a representation like that before in the media. Our father wasn't really thinking. You know, you know. I think, man, she would have been huge. She would have been huge in the English market. Another thing she wanted to do, and she never really got the chance because she passed away, was movies. Selena always wanted to cross over into the movie world as well. Obviously, I think every celebrity does because, like I was explaining to Lisa, movies is the ultimate form of celebrity because uh, um, not everybody listens to a specific genre, right? And that was one of the things. If you watch, I was gonna bring that up, Lisa. If you watch the Netflix series, Beyonce actually claims, and the Netflix series goes by this. Beyonce actually claims that she met Selena in the mall in the mid '90s, uh, and the Netflix series has a scene where Selena is walking in the mall and Beyonce sees her and she notices her and she said, "Oh, that's Selena, that's Selena." And Beyonce's mom actually goes up uh, to Selena and tells her that her daughter sings as well. You know, and Selena, gives her approval of Beyonce. Whether or not that happened, I don't know. Who knows if it's true? But according to Beyonce, that's what happened. She met Selena at the mall. Why I don't believe it, or maybe it is true because she was well known in Texas, but I don't believe. I mean, it could be true. I mean, not, who knows? People do listen to music in other languages. Even I know some Indian celebrities. You know, people wouldn't think that I know who Shah Rukh Khan, uh, Shah Rukh Khan, the Indian actor, the guy is, but I know who he is. So if I ran into him, I would know who he is, even though I don't speak Hindi and I don't know any other Indian actors, but I do know him. So it is possible. I mean, Lisa says she doesn't believe it, but I mean, it could be true. But they put in their Netflix movie. I mean, her style wasn't necessarily. I mean, Beyonce's style really wasn't influenced by Selena at all. But like you said, being two Texas girls, I could definitely see them hooking up if Selena had crossed over into English. And definitely, or even just in Spanish because I think Beyonce did a song with Shakira, if I'm not mistaken, before. Yeah, uh, that's that's what I'm saying, Lisa. That's my point. Is that it could be true. It's a possibility. You know what I mean? It's like if it's like they claim that Fat Joe makes that he supposedly did a song with Biggie that was unreleased. You know what I mean? We don't know if that's true because the song is unreleased. But he's from New York, so it could be true. But yeah, Selena is looked at in Texas the way that Biggie is looked at in New York. As this iconic status. If anybody who's ever been to New York knows that Biggie has statues of him. Biggie has portraits of him. Biggie is everywhere when it comes to New York. He's like, especially Brooklyn. He's like the favorite son of. So it's possible, but outside of Texas, you know, nobody knew who she was, and that's really a shame. Because she was super talented. and not just for a Mexican, overall, in general. She had a super talented voice. People that I could have seen her working with, Beyonce, like Lisa mentioned, Janet Jackson was one of her influences. Janet Jackson was a huge influence on her, which is why she did eventually work with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Yeah, Lisa, the song that I'm talking about is called that she worked with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. It's an R&B song. It's called "Missing My Baby." It was on her first one and only English album. It's a pretty good song. People, like I said, I could have seen her working with Janet Jackson. I could have seen her working with um, people that were more to the R&B pop uh, category. You know, and fashion was another. Fashion was another, um, of course, passion of hers. She designed all her own outfits. You know, she designed that famous one, the purple one. You know, but it's just fucked up, and her life was cut short the way it was. But I'm not. I'll be probably watching this documentary just to cover it on this channel and just to uncover the bullshit that the documentary is gonna. I'll send you a link of it, Lisa. The song I'm talking about. But Selena Gomez is of course named after her, but Selena Gomez is not nearly as talented as her. You know. All right. So anyway, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell button to see when my next video is coming out. Oh, she's not. Oh, okay. Sorry, I stand corrected, guys. Selena Gomez is not named after her. She. Well, no, that's what I always thought. Lisa, I'm sorry, I stand corrected. I know that the name Selena. They actually an interesting story how Abraham and her mom got the name, this woman that was giving birth in the same hospital on the same day that Selena's mom was giving birth was gonna name her daughter Selena, but she ended up having a boy. So they decided they became friends in the hospital, and Selena's family decided to go with the name instead. But anyway, uh, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell button to see when my next video is coming out. I love you guys. And of course, I'll be doing another video in a couple minutes on professional wrestling. So look out for that. Peace.